My friends, let's do tzedakah together. We give together, we bless together, and we will be redeemed in Mirz Hashem today. All of us together. This past Friday we had a fast of Asara B'Teves, which was the beginning of the calamity of the destruction of the temple, as we spoke about last week. An important figure that played a tremendous role at that time was the famous prophet Yirmiyahu, or to call him in English, Jeremiah. He prophesied for a total of 40 years, and he lived during one of the most critical periods in Jewish history. Right? He saw the destruction of the temple, of the first Beit HaMikdash. And all this was while all his prophecies unfortunately fell on deaf ears. His prophecies are recorded in the book of Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah, which also contains important events of his life. And then when the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, he lamented the terrible fate of the Jewish people in the book of Eicha, book of Lamentations, which actually we read on Tisha B'Av. So who was he? Yirmiyahu was born into a priestly family in the town of Anatot, which belonged to the tribe of Binyamin. Beit HaMikdash is also in the area which belongs to Binyamin. His father was a prophet and Kohen Gadol, Chilkiah. He was still a young man, I think 15, when the spirit of prophecy came upon him. He was frightened. He was fearful to accept such a responsibility and declare to God, but now, I'm still a boy. And God said to him, don't say you're a boy, I am a boy, because I will go wherever you go. I will go wherever I sent you. I am with you. So it's not about you, it is me, God, speaking through you. So as I said, he prophesied during 40 years until the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash and a short time thereafter. One of the first missions that he was given by God was to go to the exiled 10 tribes of Israel. Remember at one point, they divided between Judah and Israel. The 10 tribes were exiled. Their kingdom was destroyed by the Assyrians. So Yirmiyahu went back to them, brought them courage and hope, and induced many of them to return to Eretz Yisrael, to the land of Judah, to their native land. In a moving prophecy, Yirmiyahu reminded his people of their early history. When he came out of Egypt, full of faith, they followed Moshe Rabbeinu Moses into the desert. He pictured the loyalty of the Jewish people to God as that of the newly wedded bride to her husband. And then he wonders, what happened to his people that they had turned away from God? It's not enough, said the prophet, that the Jewish people have forsaken God and His Torah, the fountain of life, but unfortunately they turned to idolatry and a false way of life which can give no life but only bring misfortune. He further kept on reminding people not to rely on man, because by relying on man, we deny God. Only trusting God is certain to be rewarded. King Hosea brought about a decline in the spiritual life of the people, I should say, after the death of the pious king. And he was succeeded by kings who did not measure up at all to their responsibility. And before the king, as they call him in English, Josiah, appointed his second son, Joachaz, to succeed in his throne, because he thought that he's more inclined to follow in the proper ways. Wasn't the case. And in fact, he only lasted 3 months, and then Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, invaded the land of Judah, captured the king, took him in chains in Egypt, where he died in captivity. He placed his brother Eliakim, who changed his name from Eliakim, which means God's presence, to the name of Joachim. But he was even worse than his brother. As I said, Yirmiyahu saw the decline of the Jewish people, but at the same time, he kept on encouraging them. Mend your ways and Moshiach will come. Eibishter, time to fulfill his prophecy.